Fellow viewers, welcome to another slice of our view on Cry Out TV. I am Theodore Ngumba, your humble host. Today, we'll take a close look at the much talked about Contender Force. This much heralded development has been publicized to be the game changer, which will finally swing the balance in favor of the secessionist camp in the war in southern Cameroon. We are well informed on the legitimacy or lack of such an audacious claim. As usual, we have the Jews from the very core of the contender architects and strategists. We will share with our viewers some unbelievable and head-scratching facts from the contender core. This analysis will be done in two parts. In the second part, we'll share with you our conclusion in this issue. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, a contender, one that contends, especially a competitor for a championship or high honor. One begins to wonder why this particular name was chosen. Maybe some groups were not contending as they had claimed before and therefore needed to be repackaged as a new brand. The idea was to unite as many fighting groups as possible, or possibly all of them under one umbrella. This collaborative platform was expected to treat all groups on an equal basis. The aim was to raise $750,000 US, which was to be used to provide weapons and logistics to fighters. While on the surface, this sounded quite feasible, on the inside, the story was quite different. We had our reservations when we first heard about this because some dubious persons who are well known to be as inconsistent as a blind sniper were actively peddling the Contender Force. The claim was that a memorandum of understanding had been signed between the various groups involved. We started to gather some facts and quickly realized that, just as expected, this whole thing was nothing but smoke and mirrors. Let's listen to the usual suspects hyping the Contender Force.
We must as a people step up the game. We are part of the team of 4 people who were chosen by these people, these forces and Amazonian people, to help the rehabilitation effort, to help the humanitarian effort. So I'm calling on all sundry, everyone, take extra shift. I understand that prior campaigns have failed. I understand that you are disgruntled. You are disheartened by prior campaigns. But I'm standing here telling you that give me a chance, give us a chance. And together we will help to free Amazonia. Give us a chance where we strengthen our people, make sure that in the diplomatic realm, they will look at us as people who are serious. Nobody respects them guns in the international realm. When they see you, you are better organized. There's a MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding amongst sister forces.
We were approached by a viewer who was concerned about an audio apparently made by General Kapoor debunking his belonging to the Contender Force. We quickly engaged our networks and made some very interesting findings. Here is the audio for those who haven't listened to it.
Yes, I'm Balana. Na me, General Kapoor. I did talk on behalf of this audio when they put them out because they know the fight war with social media. Everything when they put them for social media, that means it no be me because I know the fight war for social media. Now the first audio this way I will make them, and I don't want to make them again, and I did warn the diaspora them. Say if they no get something doing, me they stop for the make audio them. We no go there here, people then go they say I dey ask money for make for make a contender force. I know they ask money for make contender force. I never ask for support. I did disclaim that audio immediately because no be me. I make that audio. And I don't want all that nonsense where they happen. When I know go there to drive inside when I AC them. When I go create some use my name, say me they support me, they give me a contender for support. Me when I take and enjoy when I AC where they hear the suffer. When I know bullet where the pass of money hit. When I should not make all that thing then write all that thing then. I know they ever go on audio. And I don't like this social media world. Even I not get thing for do. When you fight war, you do on social media. That means you know the fight the war. You want create your contender force. Create them quietly. No begin this thing. They talk about coordination. Talk about this. Talk about this. I don't want all that names them. I don't want me man the call General Sufu or the call General Katai name. Because me and he will work in collaboration and will work quiet and with secret. War no be all about if you get spoon, you sing and say you get spoon. If you get this, you sing and say you get them. No be so they fight war. They know they fight war for social media. And me, they want Tappan Ivor. For no, they just put that nonsense the way they put them against me. Me be very careful. Because we're waiting for ground zero. When they make all that nonsense, they take money. If they take that money, so we know what side they use and we go. We don't want all that nonsense there. And me, I even blame the baffled picking themselves because they are hope say they know my voice. If they hear that kind of grammar, that kind of degree holder, who they that kind of grammar, they can make that nonsense. They believe in me. I know they do all that kind of things. And I believe say we didn't for one struggle for free our mother's land. I don't want that nonsense. If man no getting for do, me talk say no getting for do. When I want that Tappan Ivor for me. If some man feel really I forget the number for call you directly. I talk for you. You know. So I know one time. Now
listen to Tappan and his true feelings about the contender force.
Good evening to all of you. I believe it's late and thank you all for the sacrifice. I write this because, of course, I just see the forum and I know say most of we, if not all of we here, will be in the ADF people who would advocate for that contender force. They give me this idea of the contender force and make it a singer. I start seeing this particular contender force I would say more than 1 month before they launch the contender force. That means say every day I can answer questions about this content, preparing people their mind, that kind of mobilization, advocacy for preparing people their minds. I the singer, do all kind of things for Facebook, show screen, how am I the show na TV, when I the see for back TV, answer calls, so tell people to be prepared. And then only when I can launch the contender force, now we will not even get exit strategy. What is the plan B? There is no plan B. I know kind of shit on for every day for TV. I can say, oh, okay, this man don't donate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You want to donate $200? Thank you very much. Mariah number. I'm tired. I get things there for do. Just like when I be busy, when I get family, me I get family. I am tired. If una no fit tall, una no fit comot, una no fit waka for state by state, basket by basket, that is what mobilizes people. If people they no fit waka goes on state, because when I apply for Chicago people will already prepare you basket for give you money, fundraising to inside hall, and then as they announce on social media, breaking news, Ayabacho in Chicago. And you as we announce until they go live, then people there too they be excited, they donate again live. But when would you should have for inside our room when I tell me Tappan about 2 o'clock and raise money? I know if you raise $750,000. How much did they pay me? How much? Who pays me? What that stress? When I know I don't take 2 hours off my own work for kind of work for inside this particular struggle, where when I don't even get plan, when I don't even get plan B for raising funds. Oh.
So, contrary to the Facebook grandstanding, things were not as smooth sailing. Here is a follow-up to Tappan's lamentations.
Tappan, there is no plan B. Tappan, there is no plan B. Wait till the way they talk for you now. Now one of those things that we don't talk, say let us get our head together, make we fix them. Everybody we eat the inside na ADF, na AGC, na pro, and they say staunch people the way they believe in A, Gov, C and the ADF. Yes. So at a certain point in time, it will really be sickening for me for things say we in the house with the struggle for fix until we that for will benefit for all of us. But some people I don't know how people put them. But some people they don't take us serious. They look and they say we are an enemy. Now because of this, now because they neglect one or two things, that because they look at some voices they don't count. Now so me I go judge them because before Tappan one go online, we'll be done to talk this thing. I think 3 days before that, after we'll see all this flood and say it's not going to work like that, make we get this thing right. There are people sitting here that have been done the call they say even 3 days before time they find out, and I be tell them straight, say the information where they don't sell up, it is not you una get a different version than about this stuff. We cannot go down this route. We know if you do them so. We know if you do them so. And that's why today me I never put my voice for promote the contender force. I never talk, and of course with me I've been on the champion and before launching. Before the one launch, I've been on the promoter. We don't prepare people their mind. This was supposed to be a very good success. I don't know who pushed this thing, and who be done the misinform people the way they begin for be involved into this stuff for get them right. I don't know who has been doing that from the background, because from every indication, Tappan is not well informed. The right information has not been given to Tappan. As simple as that. Yes. And remember, since I spoke man, where everybody they look onto it, he don't sing this song. So why always try to be stingy with information? Put Tappan in that council. Let Tappan sit there by himself to know exactly what is happening. Put Tappan in the council. We are talking about transparency and accountability. So Tappan to sit in the council doesn't mean that Tappan will control money or Tappan will do whatsoever. Tappan should sit in the council because he wants to pass the right information. What is really this? Now what is this? Would we make error? We not learn from the past errors then? Must we make the same error and fall before we learn? Must we do that?
Yeah, spokesman Tappan again.
Well, I think the honest truth is me, I would just suspend them. I would just go on live and just talk my regular story, daily breaking news, daily that. I put my picture there, explain my story. To read my people then talk me about ground zero. Nothing about contender force money, and I no go take any number for any contender force because I don't get any plan, and I not even there in the inner circle. I don't even wish for day in the inner circle. If mom said V be there for the inner circle, if they brief me about things the way they happen. But nobody is briefing me. Nobody is telling me anything. Nobody. I mean say nobody. I the record them for Ojo when I hear them. I'm gonna quote me on this. Nobody they tell me anything. Nobody they won't tell me say, oh Ivo, this is the plan for tomorrow. This is the plan for this. Nobody. I mean $750,000 to be raised. Nobody they tell me. Where they go live every day. Nobody they brief me. That means as I even go live, and I even improvise thing for even talking. Now me I they improvise. Now people they even call me self when they say that they live, they call me tell me say Ivo, no if I talk about whether the news. Just start launch contender force now because put the one donate. I say put the one donate. Me I even be surprised. That means that people they call me tell me say Ivo, just talk about donation now because I want to donate. They call me, tell me, say, ma even stop news, ma talking about donation. Now it has stopped. If we not get a plan for something where we already hatched more than 2 months ago, we did talk about we will get a plan. We will. Then we are not different from CPD and where they talk say we'll tar roads. We will be this. We'll go buy that. We'll go buy this. But me when I don't send the audio out, this one be private. Ambazonians. And they talk now because Mom CV there for this forum. If Mom CV know the inside that particular this, I don't even get anybody where they talk to. Nobody even tell me anything. When I hear yesterday how people they talk, say that number what collect them, I send them for Waters Keyaka. Yet Waters they never even call the people them. Nothing that way people they talk for ground zero, where they call for forum for live show yesterday. Say number where they collect them 4 days ago. Till now, nobody never even called them for collect the money for the people where they want to donate their money. That means say, let me so I give my number, but no man never call me for take the money from me. So how are we serious? Or are we just want a position or want a waiting? Ash.
Hopefully, things are getting much clearer for our viewers now. So Tappan was not in the council and was therefore parroting fallacies. Clearly, Tappan could not be trusted enough to get first-hand information. He had to be treated like a dog watching its master feed it the leftovers of a sumptuous lunch. Such things are bound to happen when you suffer from diarrhea of the mouth. And since Tappan has been vomited by all other groups, this is his last outlet. He who pays the piper calls the tune. They connived to make Tappan a dunderhead, and he was too short-sighted to see. Being a spokesman while information is being withheld from you is like driving a car in reverse from Pakistan to New Jersey. Another staunch supporter of this failed initiative is none other than Ngong Emmanuel, alias Kapoor Daniel. This activist and world champion of grammatical errors doesn't know his left from his right anymore. One day, the IG is non-entity to him. The next day, he accepts an ambassador nomination from the IG number 12. Since there are IGs popping up on every street corner, this dumpster diplomat refused to heed to calls for good judgment and insisted that the plan must go ahead. If Southern Cameroonians put their fate on the hands of a dustbin diplomat like Kapoor, before long, the slogan of their country will become "Stupidity is intelligence." Listen carefully.
Well, Mr. Ntambe, I think that the ADF has done enough. There is no, the question you are asking, talking like somebody who is a law student, is a question for indictment, not a question for a line of question to get information, because I've already said what I have said. It answers that your question, unless you are looking for an indictment, which is not, I believe that is not what we should be looking for here. The ADF have come in this setting and answered questions beyond any other group has ever done, giving us classified access to the Secretary General, and everybody have spoken here in clear terms. The information that Mr. Yamba have given you is highly classified. So I don't know why you are asking for additional confirmation when you have already had all the information about the same question you are asking. Unless you are saying we came here for an indictment, then we should have made our intention clear and then let the people know whether they will come here to answer our question or not. They have given us unprecedented access, giving us direct informations, first-hand informations. What do you want me to say again? My brother Beck will get a national duty. They want to be personal thing, like collective issue. This is as good as it gets. It is a collective thing. We fight for help our country. Any man that already get the information, any man who want to do anything, me wanna go ahead and do them. If person say you want to go ask for go spoil the fundraiser, me wanna go spoil them. Even if he say na accountability way it not be right now, me wanna go fight for. All man don't get enough information. Any man who want to do anything, me go do them. Yeah, I don't make my choice. I go support the contender fundraiser. I go campaign them for very hard. I be satisfied with the information I don't get and so far. Without the with the projection, with the disciple project and with that picture the way come up for big number of them, it be like I feel say more it be more of a political decision. Me all them go stand for they make that projection, and I feel say na a good decision. It go help our people they forget a vision of which the contender force go be. Now so want me all forces and they as big number then they would that troops and for that picture. Now the projection that want me then get them. Now the projection that for the international community, it don't send a strong message for the Republic of Cameroon. I stand by it and I will campaign for it. Any other thing, if I know answer no other question again. Anything I don't talk, I'm already. So me any man go do it you want to do.
Regarding General Carter's response to the fake audio, the Contender Force Mafia is now claiming that the said general has been bribed by Dr. Lees and some members of the Bafut community. Believe them at your own risk. We have so far shared with you the confusion, lack of planning, and total absence of strategy that preceded the launching of the Contender Force. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for our conclusion on this issue in our next outing.